Mr. Roberts, by way of follow-up, what decision has Mr. Fleming made that you most disagree with?
Mr. Fleming has made several bad decisions. Needless to say, you would recognize that Mr. Fleming had me earmarked as his representative to succeed him. That was a decision that he made, a decision which today I do not regret, but from a national standpoint, to put our country in this financial, economic position that it is today is one of the biggest failures of this administration. Under the leadership, not of the finance minister, under the leadership, the record will show that it is the leadership of this country, Anguilla's leadership, Mr. Osborne Barrington Fleming, has put this country under in terms of our position economically today. Moving from the Mecca of the Caribbean to the borough of the Caribbean.
Thank you. Mr. Roberts, you have ran for office before in District Number 2 and have not been successful. What do you think went wrong before, and what is different this time around?
The Anguilla Progressive Party was formed 6 months prior to the general election of 2005. And it was a 6-month period. It was a fast-track period in which we were doing a lot of administrative work in terms of getting the party up and running. The Anguilla Progressive Party produced a constitution. The answer, that ship that fell away the night of the election, did not produce a constitution. It was really and truly just a fly-by-night grouping of individuals. This time around, and it was 6 months into the election, I was contesting against the Honorable Chief Minister, who was the incumbent for over 20 years. This time around, I've had sufficient time to speak to the people of the district. I've had sufficient time to continue my community service within the district. And I think that this time around it's even easier because I'm here alone. I stand alone. And I hope that the people of District 2 would recognize that I am continuing and will continue to fight for their cause, whether I am in government or not. I have been doing it outside of government, and I will continue to do it even if I'm in government. And the residents of District 2 can only be the ones to gain by me representing them as the next district representative. Not a stranger, but someone whom they know.
Mr. Roberts, the next question to you will come from Michelle Romney from the student panel.
Mr. Roberts, you have 2 minutes to answer this question. Many people are of the opinion that you were once a big supporter of the Chief Minister, the Honorable Mr. Osborne Fleming, and a sort of understudy to him, but were unable to wait to inherit the District 2 seat. How would you respond to this charge?
Thank you very much, Michelle. Mr. Fleming, for some 15 years now, indicated election after election that he was going to be relinquishing his political office, and indicated that he would like for me to succeed him. Every time that on the eve of each election, I would go to Mr. Fleming and ask, what is happening now? Mr. Fleming will tell you, well, I think I need one more term. I think I need one more term. In 2004, I met with Mr. Fleming, Mr. Fritz Smith, the chairman of the Anguilla United Front Party, Mr. David Carter, the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, at the Chief Minister's office. And I said, we're in 2004, going into 2005. What is happening now? At that time, he said, the state of the economy, he don't think that he can leave now, but he can make me a special assistant. I said, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks for your time. I left the office, and I went and I worked with Mr. Brent Davis, Mr. Wilmot Hodge, and Ms. Ann Edwards, and we formed the Anguilla Progressive Party, which today is still standing and standing firm, while the Answer Party has been disbanded. Mr. Fleming, I think, and I had some time to speak to him just recently. I think that he's feeling the pain of not knowing that he's supporting me in this election because he recognizes the outcome, the writing is already on the wall, that he has a failed candidate in District Number 2, and that I will indeed succeed District Number 2. And I will represent him as well as a resident of that district to the best of my ability.
Mr. Roberts, it has been said that Anguillian politicians share a similar political ideology. How would you describe yourself, as more liberal or conservative?
We're more of a conservative bunch in the Angola Progressive Party, and we're team players, you know, so I'll just leave it at that.
A quick follow-up. Can you give an opinion or position on an issue to justify this characterization?
The Angola Progressive Party speaks about partnership. We speak about collaboration. And any matter that concerns the welfare of this nation will be discussed in partnership with the people of this country.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. The next question for you comes from Ariana Woodley from the student panel.
Mr. Roberts, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer this question. Besides Mr. Ronald Webster, is there a local politician, past or present, that you admire for the way he or she has served?
I can say that Sir Emil Gums, with all respect to, again, my affiliation in the past with the Angola National Alliance, so Emil Gums would be someone who I would highly recommend. So Emil Gums is a very quiet, soft-spoken person. And what I respect highly about Sir Emil Gums is that Sir Emil Gums recognized when the time came for him to step aside, and he gracefully left the political stage of Angola, and he left it in good hands. That is what I call leadership. That is what I call someone who knows when their time has come. You must never, as a leader, be forced out of your leadership role or position because persons, for whatever reason, think that you have outlived your usefulness, what we see happening today. And I definitely will say Sir Emil Gums is someone who I would highly recommend.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Roberts, you've exhausted all the questions here this evening, and it's my duty at this time to ask you to present your closing statement, and for that